What do you think about these YouTubers and guys like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and these guys trying to get in the fight game and trying to, well, I mean, obviously Logan's a little crazy, trying to, actually, ask for an MMA fighter and ask for a fighter. But what do you think about these guys just in general getting in fighting and actually going out there and fighting? How do you think that's going to end for these guys?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you want to see him get in there, fight a good fighter, and learn a lesson. But they do bring eyes to our sport, and I guess that's always a good thing. You get the whole YouTube, the younger audience looking at fighters, and they go in there and they get beat up by a fighter, and then these fighters get some new fans. It definitely waters it down a little bit, though, for me. You got Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather, arguably the best boxer ever. And Logan Paul is literally 1-1 in his boxing. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just I'd rather see Floyd give like an up and coming fighter that opportunity than a guy like the Paul brothers.
I'm curious to see how that's going to sell, just for the fact that when Conor was fighting him, I mean, you're talking about at the time Conor of all time is a huge impact, but I mean, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, in his own right. He's done a lot for the sport. He's won a lot of fights, champion, everything. I remember how hard of a sell that was. I mean, he got a lot of criticism to fight Floyd. And it's hard to imagine Logan, how that fight's going to go when Conor, Conor sold it because it was Conor. That's why. Conor went out there and Conor did what Conor does. Logan's not going to go in there and get in Floyd's face and do a world tour and say the things Conor does. So it's hard. I'm just curious how it's going to sell without that Conor kind of showman aspect to it, and especially considering the fact Logan's not Conor and fought as much as him and trained as much as him, obviously.
Yeah, I just think, when Conor and Floyd fought, at least it was a real fighter fighting another fighter, even though two different sports.
Yeah.
And like you said, Conor has, the gift of gab, and he's one of the best promoters that we've seen in any sport. I think the audience is going to be so different for this. It's going to be a bunch of young kids, people that are, on YouTube a lot. I have a 12-year-old and 10-year-old, and, they're YouTubers. They know the Paul brothers and stuff like that. So I think you're going to get a lot of that audience. And then you're going to see some, fight fans are fight fans, man. They want to see a fight. And, I think people are going to be tuning in just to see the Paul brothers get beat up, to be honest with you.
Well, especially Jake. He's talking so much shit. So
yeah, big time.
He's setting himself up for a bad meme, and he's not gonna like it. He doesn't understand, I think, that second place in this sport or in any combat sports it's not a fun. It's not like second place in any other sport.
and everybody could be touched, man.
Yeah,
everybody could be touched in this sport.
It's fun making fun of Flatline and Nate, but when it's you get going down there face first into the canvas, that's not so
Different
fun.
Ball game.
Yeah.